Hey y'all, so I'm back with another video. With this video, I'm just here to talk about and discuss what life was truly like living with the narcissist and being married to a narcissist. So one of the things that I experienced a lot when I lived with this narcissist, being in the 15-year marriage with this narcissist, is isolation. Every time there was a family event that I had or invited him to, he never wanted to go. He never wanted to participate. He never put in any effort of getting to meet any of my family members except my two brothers. My two brothers were the only ones that he made any effort of trying to get to know or hang around or even somewhat have a relationship with. Like, maybe the effort he was putting in was probably fake, because everything that these narcs do is fake and it's based on lies. So I'm sure whatever little bit he tried to do with my younger brothers, that was probably not real. It was probably fake. It was probably make-believe, you know? But anytime I wanted to invite him to my parents' house or a family gathering or to do things, to spend time with my family, to get to know them, to spend time with them, he would turn it down. He would never want to participate. He would never want to have anything to do with it. But when it came to his family, oh, he made extra sure that I participated in his family gatherings, his family activities, that I spent plenty of time with his mom, his sister, you know, went to his mom and sister's house for Christmas and Thanksgiving, and anytime there was a family dinner, he made extra sure I was a part of that for his family. But when it came to my family, he never returned the favor. He never did those same things for me and my family. He was very manipulative. He was a good liar. He was really good at convincing me to think a certain type of way, to believe certain things that he believed, or to think the way that he thought. He was really good at manipulating me into mirroring his way of thinking, or he was good at manipulating me into thinking the way that he thought or believing what he believed. Basically he was really good at manipulating me into being influenced by him and his actions, the way that he moved, the way that he did things, the way that he thought, his unorthodox thoughts and behavior. He was good at manipulating me into thinking that he was normal. There was nothing wrong with what he was doing and how he was doing it. You guys got to understand, like, when you're in the thick of it and you're going through this and you're not educated, you're not aware of what you're dealing with, you don't know. You are an empath that is an open book. Your guard is down. So you're pretty much at your most vulnerable state in life, because anybody can tell you anything and you'll believe it. Anybody can manipulate you or convince you to be and think this certain kind of a way, because you just don't know, and that's where I was at. I didn't know any better, guys. I didn't know how to defend myself. I didn't know that I was in danger. I didn't know that I was being used. I didn't know that I was a project for this narc. I didn't know that everything that this narc did was to his benefit. And I knew it in a way, because I sensed it in certain ways. And I would even speak up on it and say, you always want me to participate in your family gatherings, but you never participate in mine. I would say things like that. So I was aware of his unfair treatment toward me when it came to him and I dealing with family members. I was aware of that part, but I wasn't fully aware of what his true intentions were. Another thing he tried to convince me to do was participate in his marijuana addictions. He's a pothead. He has to smoke weed all day, every day. And it was real bad when we were younger, and then it started to slow down as we got older, but then he started to pick it back up again and be real heavy with it again. I guess whenever he got stressed out or things didn't go his way, or he was emotionally or mentally struggling with something, he would smoke heavy. But he tried to always coerce me and encourage me and manipulate me into smoking with him. But I never did it for the simple fact that smoking weed never gave me the type of high that I looked for. It was always alcohol and wine, and it's by God's grace that I didn't become an alcoholic, because this narc's activities and patterns and daily activity was getting high when I could have been sitting right along with him getting drunk, but I didn't do that. Another thing that he always wanted me to do was participate in unhealthy sexual activity. Like he would use my foot and get his rocks off on my toes, which is really weird, nasty, and awkward. He would, when we are in the bedroom, he would try to encourage me and manipulate me into having anal sex, which is something I never desired, never liked, never even thought of doing. Like, that's something that people do in porn, and I have several times seen him watching porn. I've caught him doing it, and I would ask him, why are you looking at that stuff? What do you get out of that? You have a wife who you can have relations with. Why are you so interested in porn? Oh, no, it's just something I'll be looking at, every now and then. It ain't nothing. No, it was really something. And I think that's where he got the idea of anal sex from, is all that dang on porn he would watch. He's very much addicted to porn, as much as he's addicted to the weed, the marijuana. I don't know why, but he's very addicted to just lying for no reason. Like, he'll lie about stuff that he don't have to lie about. He'll just lie for no reason. We could just be having a normal day, and we'll be in the mall or at the store or something, and we could be talking about clothing or getting an outfit or doing something later, and he will literally lie about it. And I just be like, dude, why you gotta lie? Like, there is no reason for you to lie. And you know what he would do every time I would ask him that? He would laugh. He would laugh it off, shrug it off, like it's a cool thing to do. Like, it's cool to lie. Like, it's not a big deal to lie. But he would lie in instances where it wasn't even necessary to be lying. He would just lie just to lie. Like it was fun. Like, he would lie like it was fun for him to lie. Like, to just to do it. Like, he got a rise and a kick out of just lying. He will always laugh about his nonchalant lies. He would laugh and smirk about it like it was a cute, funny thing. What else? Narcissists, they hate for you to have a mind of your own. So a lot of what I experienced when I was with this narc was, anytime I voiced an opinion, or anytime I had a point that I wanted to make in a conversation that we were having, whether if it was about religion or politics or raising children, or whether if it was about a career plan or whatever it was we decided to talk about, he always tried to overpower me with his opinions, his mindset, his way of thinking, his perspective. He would try to overpower me with that. But he never liked it when I tried to give him my perspective, my opinion, my way of thinking, my thoughts on things. He would always try to convince me that his perspective was correct and mine was wrong. Or he would always try to convince me that his ideas, his thoughts, his philosophies were, better. And I should think the way that he think, and I should agree with him, and I should focus my mind on trailing down the path of his thought patterns, his perception of things, his opinions. But my opinion never mattered to him. My beliefs, my opinions, my perspective never mattered to him. It was always about his mind and never about my mind. So he always in a slight, subtle way disrespected my mind and disregarded my mind. And he did it so much to the point where I became used to it. And there were many times where I didn't even notice. But there were times that I did notice. And to myself in my mind, I would just be like, dude, you're not always right all the time. And everything that you say is not always correct. And it's not always about what you think all the time. And everybody does not think like you. Everybody is not like you. Just because you are a certain way doesn't mean the next person is the same way that you are. I've had those thoughts and feelings too, and they would even turn into arguments at times. Like if he was sensing that that he couldn't if he was sensing that he could not get me to agree with him or agree with his opinion or his perspective, he would get irritated. He would get upset, and it would turn into this petty fight, a fight that we didn't have to have. Oh, and that's another thing. We've had several fights about things that it made no sense to have a fight about. Like, this man would pick fights and arguments with me about stupid stuff that's just like, okay, whatever. Like, I would find myself angry, my heart racing, sweating on my forehead, nervous and annoyed and angry all the time. I found myself angry a lot of times, frustrated a lot of times, angry a lot of times, sad a lot of times, and frustrated. And that could have been what caused my IBS. That could have been what caused my hyperthyroid disease, because I was always on edge with this person. Like, I was always on edge, and it was always anger, frustration, and sadness. And like, when you're in the heat of the moment and you're arguing and your heart is racing and you're in your anger and your nerves and your heart rate, everything is amped up to like the 100th degree. I was always in situations like that. This man never allowed me to have any peace. Not mentally, not emotionally, not spiritually, not sexually. Now, don't get me wrong. The bedroom part was okay, other than the anal sex part and the foot part. Other than those two things, I mean, he performed well in the bedroom, but there was a price to pay. There was a price for me to pay for that. Like, it was like, okay, I gave you what you wanted. Now you got to do what I want. That's how I felt. It's not what he said, but that's the actions that he took. Like, he didn't have to say it. Like, his actions basically spelled it out. That, like, okay, I pleased you and gave you what you wanted. Now you got to do what I want. And the things that he wanted to do was not pleasing. It was not comfortable. It was disgusting. It was weird. It was so outside of the box. It was not a normal bedroom. I'm going to just say that. Our bedroom was not normal. Raising children was hard because it's the same as what I was saying about his opinion, his way of doing things. He would try to overpower me with that. It was the same with our parenting. When I did something with our children or disciplined our children in a certain way, or like thought that our kids should be doing these such and such certain things, he would try to overpower me and say that his style and way of parenting is better. And he would argue with me about that. He would fight me about this stuff, y'all. Like, the majority of our fights was about our kids, honestly. Another thing I forgot to mention to y'all that I left out, and I'm editing this video and adding this clip, is the fact that when it came to parenting our children, he always made me feel like I was a step parent to my own kids. He always made me feel like I was a step parent to my own children. He never made the things that I decided to do with our children, whether if it came to decision making or discipline, he never validated it. He always made me feel like I was an outsider. He always made me feel like I was walking around on eggshells when it came to me parenting my own children. And I said this to him many times. You always make me feel like I'm a step parent to my own kids. I birthed these children. I carried them for 9 months. I'm not their stepmom. So stop treating me like I'm my children's stepmother. I am their mother. He was really good at making me feel like I was the stepmom to my own children. My youngest child, my youngest son, my youngest child, he would do things that is inappropriate or do things that I did not approve of. And every time I checked my son and put him back in his place about it, his father, my narcissistic husband, would intervene and say how wrong I am. And he would yell at me and curse at me and argue with me and fight with me about disciplining my own child. Like, as if he's saying, you know, our son behaving inappropriately or doing inappropriate things, or as if our son lashing out and having these fits and things like that is okay. Like as if he wanted our child to be this demon child, you know. And every time we have fights and arguments, he would always threaten to take my son away from me, our youngest son, because our oldest son is biologically my son, outside of our marriage. Because when he met me, I already had one child, and that's our oldest son, which is biologically my son, not his son. So my son is his stepson. So every time we had a fight, he would always threaten to take Justin Jr. away from me. He would always threaten to get his mother involved to help him take, you know, Junior away from me. He would always say, well, he gonna take him, or he would always ask in this manipulative way, can I take him and you keep your daughter and I take him? He would always say that. A lot of our marital fights were stupid, petty, didn't have to happen, but that's just him. That's just how he is. He's petty, he's immature, he's childish. He will fight you about any and everything. He has a very, very bad temper. He doesn't know how to control his actions or his emotions. He doesn't know how to control his anger. And he was very, very good at making himself seem like he was such the good guy to our children, and really, really good at painting me out to be the bad guy with our kids. So in our children's mind, they think, oh, mom is mean, mom is the bad guy, and dad is the nice one, dad is the fun parent, dad lets us do whatever we want to do. But in my mind, it's like, if we're not teaching our children the difference between right and wrong, all we are sitting here doing is raising some demons. You know, that's how I thought in my empathic, Christian, chosen one mind, is certain activities children should not be doing, should not be thinking, it's not okay. But he would challenge me on it at every turn, and he would make it okay for our children to misbehave, make it okay for our children to have bad grades, make it okay for our children to not be responsible or held responsible, make it okay for our children to fight. Like, he would act like he wasn't okay with our children fighting each other, but really that entertained his demons. Like, he got a thrill out of seeing and hearing our children fight. And he would always mistreat my son, you know, my oldest son. He would always mistreat him and put our children that him and I had together, he would always put them on a pedestal and make my son feel low and make my son feel small, make my son feel as though he was never important or that he's not a part of the family circle, which is sick, twisted, and weird, because in the beginning, it was me, him, and my oldest son in the very beginning. We didn't even have our 2 children yet. So the first 3 years of our marriage, it was me, my son, and him. My son was here first. My son was the first child. So how dare you make him feel like he's not important, like he's not a part of the family? He may not be your biological child, but he's still your son. And he may be the one that's different, but so what? He's ours. But he always treated our son like the outsider. He always treated our son like he was small, he didn't matter, he wasn't important. And he especially did it when we had our 2 children together. After we conceived our 2 children together, that's when it became full blown. In the beginning, he was nice to my son. In the beginning, he put on a nice show and a nice front. Like, he was so happy being a stepdad to my son. And one day that switch just flipped. He stopped being this nice stepdad to him. He started treating him bad, excluding him, leaving him to the side, you know, and he would always lecture my son about stuff that was stupid to lecture him about. He was always good at making my son, you know, feel low, and he was good at intimidating my son. But when it came to our children, it was like as if to him in his mind, they have no boundaries, but he always made my son feel like there are boundaries. So he would give my son boundaries, but not give our children, our 2 children that we had together, he would not give them boundaries at all. Oh, they can act a certain way. They can even be disrespectful to him. But our son, he better not dare disrespect him. That's just how it was. He would always get on the phone and tell his mother our marital business, our marital fights, our marital, anything that happened in our marriage or in our parenting. He would always share it with his mother. Things that really was none of his mother's business, he would share with her. He would get on the phone and gossip. He would get on the phone and tell lies to make him. He would tell the type of lies that sound so true that anybody will believe his lies because he's so good at lying and acting. Like I said in my previous videos, these jokers, they're really good at acting and lying. So he would get on the phone and gossip with his mom and tell his mom stuff. Half the stuff he would tell her would be lies. The other half would be a partial of the truth. He would always tell stories in a way that made himself sound innocent, but made me sound like a monster. All the fights that he started and created, he made it seem as if I was the one that started and created them. He would spend all my money. He was never responsible. He never helped me pay bills. Every apartment we stayed in, or property we stayed in, it was always left trashed. It was always left with a balance on it because he never helped me pay any bills. All the financial responsibility was always left on me, so he was never financially responsible. He did cook every night. That's about all he did. So to the children, in the children's mind, oh, he's this great dad. And even to me, for a while, he was a great dad. But when I started to break down what he actually really did for our children, he never did anything for our children. Never. I'm going to tell you, this is what this joker did. He would make our children believe that he was buying them things and doing these things for them, but the person who was really buying them things and doing these things for them was his mother. So he would take his mother's money and buy our kids stuff and tell our children that he bought it, when really his mother bought it, when really his mother gave him the money to buy it. And if it wasn't his mother financially footing the bill for stuff that he should have been financially footing the bill for, it was me. So it was always either me or his mother financially footing the bill for our children, financially footing the bill for our bills, financially footing the bill for anything that involved finances, involved money, involved transactions. It was always either me or his mother doing them. He bought this old beat up truck. And he used my entire paycheck that I worked tirelessly, many hours working. He took my entire paycheck and he manipulated me into giving him my whole paycheck when that check should have went to rent. And then he got on the phone with his mother and he manipulated her and convinced her into giving him some money. So he took my whole paycheck and some money that he got from his mother and he purchased this old beat up raggedy truck. And he loves the heck out of this truck for whatever reason. I don't know why. It's like a 1997 Chevrolet. And he loves this truck like it's his life. It's raggedy. It's dirty. He treats it like it's a spanking brand new truck. He won't go out and make an effort to go get him a new vehicle because he says, oh, I saved so much more money not having a car note. But dude, you've been riding around in this raggedy vehicle for 3 years. You're not making no effort to try to get you a better vehicle to do better. He's comfortable in this raggedy truck for whatever reason. But hey, when you're riddled with demons, you like disgusting things. You're comfortable in your disgust, or what have you, or whatever. What else? He was really good at making false promises. He would tell me things and he would manipulate me into believing that he was going to do these things and those things for us. He was going to do these things and those things for our marriage. He was going to change. He was going to make adjustments. He was going to do better. He was going to go get counseling. No, never did it. So he made a lot of false, empty promises. He claimed that he was going to make commitments he never made. He was really good at manipulating me sexually. That's how he got his way with me a lot of times. He would really give me this great sex, make me feel so good to the point where he was able to get me to do anything he wanted me to do for him. This man got me doing stuff that I never thought in a million years I would ever do. Like this man had me, come out of my character many a times. Things that when I think about it, now I'm so ashamed. I'm so disappointed in myself that I allowed someone to manipulate me this much. I allowed someone to take advantage of me this much. I allowed somebody to control me this much. And whenever I would cry, whenever he made me cry, he would always dismiss it, like as if me crying wasn't happening. Like he wasn't moved by emotions. This man never was moved by emotions. He never consoled me when I cried, especially if he was the one who made me cry. He would always brush it off and make me feel like I'm weak for crying, or that I need to suck it up and man up. Why do I have to man up and I'm a woman? How about you man up? You're the man. You know, that's how I felt, a lot of times. What else? What else did I go through living with this selfish, egotistical, immature, insecure, pathetic human being? He always used his mother as a tool to bully me, to get his way with me. So if I didn't agree on something, he would hop on the phone, tell his mom about it, and they would both strategically come up with a plan for him to get his way anyway. She was really good at getting on the phone with me and acting like this harmless dove, this loving, caring, kind being. That's how she always presented herself to me, over the phone and in person. So how she was able to manipulate me to help her son get his way and to help her son out. She always came to me real soft, real, loving, caring, kind, harmless. Like she's so concerned, but really she's playing the game with her son. She's helping him out. But there was a lot of times she turned on me too and blamed me for a lot of stuff that was nowhere nearly my fault. A lot of fights that her and I had, or encounters that her and I had, it was always when she was intoxicated with alcohol. So he used his alcoholic mother to bully me a lot of times, to intimidate me, to control me, to help him get his way with me. Whatever it is that he wanted from me, he always used his mother to get it. So if it was to get his way, to get money, he always ran to his mother like a little boy. So this man is a little boy walking inside of a grown man body. This man never grew up, so he's still a little boy up here in the heart. When it comes to his confidence, his mentality, his whole mental structure is a little boy. That's why he never helped me pay any bills. That's all why he always ran to his mother every time we had problems. That's why whenever he wanted anything, he always used his mother and I to get it for him instead of him getting up and getting a job. He always would claim he would get up and get a job, but then he would turn around and contradict himself and say, well, I'm not ever working for the white man. Just a very pathetic human being. He would always contradict himself. He will always tell lies. He will always manipulate. He will always use sex as a weapon to control me, to even blackmail me too. There were a lot of times where he would hurt me emotionally, and we would have a fight and argument. 3 seconds later, he would literally act like that fight did not just happen. And he would be rubbing on me, touching on me, trying to, have a sexual activity with me after we just had a fight like 60 seconds prior. Very, very sick and demented. I know. Yeah, I can go on for days. I can go on for hours. But y'all, living with this narc, being in a marital relationship with this narc, being a parent with this narc has been hell and is still hell, because I allowed my children to stay with him because that's what they chose. Because we had a family discussion at the kitchen table and I let them choose. I said, well, which parent do you want to stay with? They chose to stay with him, of course, because he does not make them be held responsible. He does not make them do homework. He does not give them structure. And instead of him being the real father that he should be, he just drops my children off to his mother's house. And he has his mother take care of our children when he should be doing it. And then he blocks me from taking care of our children because he's so focused on competing with me and making himself seem like he is the better parent. That's all he cares about, is trying to outdo me when it comes to parenting. He's so focused on making me look like the bad parent when really he's actually the trifling, lazy parent, an irresponsible parent. But he's so focused on trying to make me look like I'm the irresponsible, trifling, lazy parent when it's really him. I went to court and I agreed on joint custody. I should not have done that. So now I'm in my mind, I'm so torn because I tried to do the right thing and make my children happy too, but come to find out that was the wrong move for me to make. And us empaths, we so focused on trying to make other people happy. We have such great intentions, but it always blows up in our face when we're dealing with a narcissist. So yeah, I'm gonna come to the end of the video here. Please like, hit, and subscribe. Please share, because it's important for other people out there to be educated, to become aware of the type of abuse that's happening out here with narcissism. Stay prayed up. Keep your armor. Carry God's word with you. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace and blessings to you.